So I'm here with John David Jackson. This is Sonee from Sonee's Florida Sports Report. Tell me a little bit about supporting these Florida fighters here, first of all, tonight. We got a good card coming up. There's already been some great undercards, but then we still got Daquan Arnett coming up. We just had Errol Spence win on his card, and then for the main event, we've got Derek Wilson against Santos. Talk about it.
Well, Derek Wilson likes to train. Good fighter. His outside lifestyle was kind of bad for a while, so hopefully he's got that corrected. Very talented young man. It's just that he has to cure those demons on the outside. If he does what he's supposed to do, it'll make it a very interesting evening against the opponent. I hear the opponent's really, really good, so it should make for a good fight, especially if it goes early, because there'll be a lot of fireworks.
You have a fighter coming up with an upcoming fight on June 14th, right? Sergey Kovalev?
Kovalev. Yeah. Against Cornelius White. It's for the #1 position in the IBF light heavyweight division. So it's a very important fight for Sergey, because should he be victorious, which we all believe he will be, he's next in line to fight Bernard Hopkins. And that'll be an interesting fight.
Well, I just saw B-Hop in Vegas out there for the May Day. I don't know whether you're out there, but he's got a lot of takers right now. I saw Antonio Tarver in his face, but I think he has an upcoming fight with Marat.
July.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fight that he really didn't want, because there's no value in that fight. But he has to take it. The IBF has mandated it. And then after that, a lot of guys are chomping at the bit to fight Bernard, but Bernard's very selective. And I told Bernard's people, you don't want to fight Kovalev. That's not the fight you really want. He's young, he's strong, he's hungry, and he doesn't care about your reputation in America. He's Russian. He cares less about you. Kovalev, unfortunately, killed somebody in the ring already, so that's his job, to hurt you. And he would put some hurt on Bernard. Believe it or not, he'd be the one guy that I fear would hurt Bernard, because he can punch. And an old man can't really fight a young man like that. Bernard hasn't fought in years, really, a hard fight like that. This young man will hit Bernard some punches that Bernard may not want to really have to withstand. Would he beat Bernard? I think he would. It's not a good fight for Bernard. Bernard can avoid him at all costs.
Do you think that it is something at this point that Bernard's even thinking about?
Well, Bernard's trying to maximize his dollar value with at least an amount of injury possible. It's not a fight that he really wants. Will the IBF make the fight happen? Only if, after a few months, Kovalev waits his turn. I think there's something else in the works for Kovalev before Bernard. Another fight, not as big, but big enough where a world title would be in the mix.
I was just talking to, when I saw Bernard out in Vegas, one of the questions I asked him was about longevity with fighters now. Not everybody lasts to 48. We got to tip our hat to him. And the same with, speaking with Tommy Hitman Hearns. He had a good, full career. Say something a little bit about, talk to me about the longevity with fighters today and why they don't last a long time and why they used to last a long time.
Well, the plain and simple fact is most of today's fighters don't have top quality teachers of boxing. There's a lot of so-called trainers. A lot of, I'm not going to mention half of them at the top, that's supposed to be the top of the game. They couldn't teach you how to fight sleep, honestly. But a true teacher in boxing, there's not that many left. I was blessed and fortunate to have Georgie Benton in my corner, and I learned from him all that I could learn. I would go to gentlemen like Mr. Eddie Futch, guys like that, Bill Miller, guys you never hear about, Mr. Luther Burgess, and Tommy knows these guys. These gentlemen were teachers of boxing. They understood the game. They understood longevity. Bernard understands it, and the reason why he's smart. He fights guys of lesser talent with good names, but really can't fight. So the cream rises to the top, and Bernard, he doesn't beat him with brawns, he beats him with smarts. Most fighters, they can't do that. Everybody trying to slug. TV has hurt boxing, because they want knockouts. They want action. They don't want the scientific part of boxing. So now a lot of fighters have lost that. And unfortunately, today, if you look at a lot of fighters, their trainers know less than they know. Take Bernard, and I'm not trying to bash them, but he knows nothing compared to Bernard. He doesn't know nothing about boxing. So it's hard to really have a trainer that can't teach you more than you know already. But there's a lot of trainers like that in boxing. I'm not putting a spotlight on him. I'm saying a lot of guys in boxing that know less than the fighters that they so-called train, and that's part of one of the shortcomings of boxing today.
So juxtapose that to your career now, coming from being a fighter to now being a trainer. What makes you special, John David Jackson?
Because, first of all, I love boxing. I'm not a fly-by-night guy who got into it and maybe coached a couple amateur guys and got lucky and had one good fighter that progressed. I started when I was 8 years old, and I started at the grassroots level, and I progressed as time went along. And when I made the transition from professional boxer to professional trainer, I worked the low end of the totem pole. I was willing to carry a bucket. I was willing to, let the guy miss a spit bucket, hit me on my arm. Those things, because I wanted to get in the game. And luckily, a fighter by the name of Sugar Shane Mosley, we had worked before, he called me up and said, John, I want you to be my head trainer. And when he gave me that chance, now the spotlight was on me, and I had to prove that I was worthy of that opportunity. And, not only did I work with him and Bernard Hopkins and other very good champions, I've had 3 guys that I brought from scratch to become world champions: Randall Bailey, Nate Campbell, and Habib Aliverdi. They were all underdogs at the time they fought for the title. I try to, give him the longevity that you teach guys that Bernard has, but, some guys are special. Bernard's a special talent. Nate's a very good fighter, and he understands the game, but he doesn't train the way he should train to maintain that high level of intensity that you need to be at that level of boxing. Bernard keeps that. He stays in the gym. A lot of these fighters, they don't see it, or they won't pay attention, or they don't believe in that. But you got to stay at that level. You got to stay in the gym all the time. Bernard does that. Most guys don't do that. That's why he's where he is, and they're where they're at. And so I'm just happy to see that these kind of fights are starting to come back more and more, and it gives the fans a chance to support these kids, and give these kids a chance to showcase their talents, and hopefully build a real nice fan base. And soon these shows hopefully be sold out.
Look in that camera and please talk to Tampa, Florida, and tell them they need to get something going up there. I am not playing about this thing. I've got John David Jackson with me right now. He is an elite trainer, not just in the Florida area, but nationally and internationally, and he's going to tell you what you need to do up there in Tampa.
Well, with the Leslie's promotion and all the others, please, listen, get these young fighters, give them the opportunity to fight and showcase their talents up in Tampa and that surrounding area, because they need to be able to be exposed to the fans up in that part of northern Florida, or the middle part of it. They need it. Boxing is a great sport, and it used to be a spectacular sport years ago with a great fan base. So hopefully you promoters up north will bring it back the way it used to be, and just give the fans what they need. Some great fights from local talent that's up there.
Very special words from a special man. I've got John David Jackson. Maybe if he answers his phone one day, I'll get into that boxing gym and get some footage for you guys, because I'm telling you, from the pictures that I see, they work it out. What is the name of your gym, by the way?
Contenders Boxing Gym.
Okay, so that's down in the MIA. I'm going to bring you some action shots next time. John, thank you so much. We're at the BB&T Center for the Golden Boy Promotions Fight Nights.